Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 25 of Jacked Up Me and Frank. I'm your host, Jack Kavanowitz, here with my co-host, Frank Arenio, and today we're going to discuss a lot about the NBA. The NBA first round is going to complete today with Game 7 between the Pistons and the Magic and the Cavs and the Raptors. And the Pistons and the Magic are playing right now, second quarter, around the 7-minute mark. So that we'll definitely discuss about that. But also, we've had some completion of series yesterday when we got the 76ers come back from 3-1, which is definitely relevant to what we're trying to talk about here. And the Knicks are going to be facing the Knicks in the next round. We'll get to that. The 76ers are, and we'll get to that. And then all of that stuff, the Western Conference, the Knicks' previous series because of the Hawks, their domination win. We'll get to all of that. So, we'll hop on. Speaking of the dominating win, let's hop on the Knicks. 4-2 series win against Atlanta. 3 straight dominant wins. New York turned it on. I think it was. I mean, I think it was like a huge. I feel like the Knicks started playing when they were down 2-1. It was really odd to see a team just flip the switch like that. I don't think you see a lot of teams flip the switch like that. That's impressive. Like, you're down 2-1, you just have 3 dominant wins. That's impressive. And I think it shows how inconsistent Knicks were in the regular season, how they had times where they were great, had times where it kind of put like that 6-game series kind of put together what the season was for the Knicks in one series.
I don't remember anything like that where, after the first 3 games, you're down 2-1. They lose the 2 really close games in games 2 and games 3. And you start to get nervous and you're like, what's going on here? Is this going to turn into a disastrous postseason where they're out in the first round? Or even, this series goes 7, 7 would be, just a bad showing for the Knicks in the
Yeah, and a
first
lot of
round, even if they go on to win in 7. But to go from down 2-1 to these dominant wins, and each win got more dominant than the one before. The game 4 they won by I think 16, and then it was 29 in game 5, and then it was 51. I mean, game 6. I mean, that was one of the most remarkable things I think we've ever seen. And I don't want to exaggerate, because it's the first round. We're not talking about winning a championship, but to win by 51 points on the opponent's home floor in an elimination game for the opponent, a closeout game for the Knicks. I mean, I don't remember anything like that. I mean,
yeah,
you have to be really impressed. And then I think you have to feel better about the Knicks now. What I want to get into with you is how much better should you feel about the Knicks now? You should definitely feel better about them, but are they going to build on this now? Or is it going to be, this was a great 3-game stretch, but you talked about the inconsistencies in the regular season. So are the Knicks gonna take off from here? Or is it gonna go back to inconsistent, and then in the next round with the Sixers, who nobody thought would be in the next round, but are now, and Embiid's back and is playing really well. Is this, I don't want to say a trap, but what should we expect from the Knicks here going forward? Are they gonna take off? Or is it going to be a grind for them because, we'll see times where they play really well, but then we're going to still see some games where they don't, and they still got some games in them where it's going to be like games 2 and games 3 versus Atlanta. So, none of us know for sure, but I'd love for us to really get into that today and talk about, what we think the Knicks are going to be going forward now.
Well, I think the first thing you got to break down is you got to look Knicks with all that, with all that thought when they were down 2-1. They were the first team in the Eastern Conference to win. Like, that means a lot with how veteran this team is and how much. I don't know. That might sound like nothing, but this team's a veteran team. Like, you go 7 games, it's a lot on the body of Brunson, who's small. A lot of hitting, like a lot of hitting of his body. I mean, it's a lot to go 7 games with a team, and Towns, with him being that tall, like that. That's a lot to go 7 games. They got 6 games and they got it quick. They played, let's just say, in baseball terms, they went 5 1/3 because basically you could sleepwalk. Even they couldn't take them out, but it was 5 1/3. against Atlanta. I would say if that or 5 2/3
Yeah.
in baseball terminology, but they got out there and they won the quickest. And I think the 76ers, who have an Embiid who gets banged up, and he went 7, even though, I mean, they were lucky they went 7 because they were down 3-1. If they're going to win, they had to go 7. But Embiid, Paul George, can they go another big time series? And this time it's me with a better team. I'm going to say it right now, a better team. Can they go 7 again? Can they go 6 again? Can they go 6? That's my thing with the Knicks. They can play another grind out series because of how they played 5 2/3 of the last series. And can the 76ers do it? Not just that, okay, they played 7 games, so obviously they can't do it the next year. But Embiid, man, the injuries, if Embiid's healthy, it's tough. But if he's not, or if it's just Embiid that gets banged up throughout the series, and because he played 7 games against a team I know will really hash on them, but the Celtics bring problems. If you're gonna if you play 7 games with the Celtics, that's hard. That's really tough on the body. And then you go and play any playoff team you play 7 games with, tough on the body. And then you go play the Knicks, who are a better team. Obviously, you project to if every round you play a harder team, of course. But man, for the Knicks to go out and go 6 1/3 or 5 1/3 is impressive. Like, because then you get the 76ers, who are a really injury riddled team. I mean, Paul George, you're talking about him, Embiid, like I saw a doctor on social media that said Embiid hyperextended his leg. He said he was faking it in the press conference, which I mean he has to say. But man, I mean it's hard because the Knicks are a team that you can't limp into, and that's for sure. It's not like the Knicks are this great team, but it's not like I'm saying the Knicks are this amazing team. You can't limp into any team you play in the playoffs in the second round, and the Knicks are no exception.
I think things line up very well for the Knicks.
But I don't want this to be a trap, though,
we
because
thought this was going to be Knicks and Celtics in the second round, and it's not.
what I
And
would
we'll
have
get into
loved,
the
I
Celtics
honestly, yeah.
later and what a disaster that is. But it's now Knicks Sixers, and you talk about the injury concerns and Embiid. What's he going to be in this next round? This lines up really well for the Knicks.
But I think there's ways
I was talking before about are the Knicks now going to get over that hurdle of inconsistency and just take off from here? That's possible, but I don't know that they need to do that in this next round. I mean, how good do they have to be to beat the Sixers? I think if they had played the Celtics, they would have had
I
to
don't
be.
know.
They
After
would have had
Game
to be
7, I think
better
that
against the Celtics and against the Sixers. And I think the Knicks, got a favorable situation here playing the Sixers versus the Celtics. And I'm not saying to fear the Celtics, and clearly the Celtics have major issues they have to address going forward. But this lined up really well with the Knicks. Bouncing the Celtics, they're a mess. You get the Sixers, you get a banged up Sixers team. Like
and a not deep Sixers.
The Knicks should, I don't know about rolling this series, but they should win this series fairly comfortably.
Well, this one of the things I don't throw Embiid out the window. I don't care. The player that I'm scared of is Tyrese Maxey. He's the guard that can put a lot of problems on the Knicks because OG Anunoby won't guard him. So you have to put. I mean, you can obviously if it gets late and you want to just put your best of it. I don't think OG Anunoby will guard him. I don't think they ever put him on him. New coach though, so who knows? But you need Embiid. You need him on like the wings and VJ Edgecombe and PG, but Knicks have problems, which they're not fast enough for Maxey. Maxey puts a lot of problems on this team. That is a little bit slower because they're older. I mean, they're veterans. But Tyrese Maxey, a guy that will get up and go as a guard. He'll get past you. He's speedy. He's fast. He puts a lot of pressure on the defense. That's a guy that I can see a world where he can put the Knicks to bed. But I just I I think the Knicks got a favorable matchup, and they got a very good matchup for them. I think you don't want to play around with them, of course. Embiid, obviously, the names Embiid and Maxey, you don't want to play around with that duo. They can do a lot against you if you play around with them. I guess that's a very good duo, point guard center duo. But obviously, you want to contain Tyrese Maxey. It's the biggest thing on the Knicks' plate this playoff round.
Yeah. So I mean, what do the Sixers have to do to beat the Knicks? Like, in what scenario can the Sixers somehow beat the Knicks in this next series? Is there a scenario?
Well, Tyrese Maxey going to have to give a consistent 30 plus, and he's going to have to be consistently the distributor. Joel Embiid is going to have to be healthy and healthy enough. He's going to have to give them consistent pressures. He's going to have to put Karl-Anthony Towns in foul trouble. That's the big thing. He's going to have to put him in foul trouble. And he's also going to have to find a way to beat Mitch, because I think Mitch has been a very decent container of Joel Embiid. So he's going to have to figure out a way to not get contained by Mitchell Robinson. And I think he's the big X factor, man. Mitchell Robinson, not even X factor. I know he'll play well in the series. So he's going to figure out a way to beat Mitchell Robinson.
So like, are you concerned in either way that, I mean, not the Celtics, the Sixers, I don't know, like they're,
well,
you know, they beat the Celtics, you know, they get this big win in the first round, because the Sixers have had so many postseason failures, but like, is there any concern that maybe things are different this year, and you know, they're going to ride this wave and go on a run? Like, is there any chance of that, or is it the same old Sixers that we've seen in recent years? You know, where maybe they win a round, but they don't do anything else but that. Like, is there a chance it's different this year for them?
If it was a younger team, I'd be scarier, because they're a veteran. I don't think that they can do it. I don't. I think if it was a younger team, and which is why I think people who compare them to the Pacers are ridiculous. Because yes, you could say the talent is a talent like close to that, but I don't think that the Pacers had something where they were fast, they were young, they were energetic, they could play multiple 6-game series each. Like, they could play a 7-game series each. I mean, I don't know if they could do that, but 7-game series the whole way through, and they could do it doing that. But 76ers, I mean, I don't feel like a veteran team can do that. I don't know, but I think honestly, with the Celtics, the way they looked at Game 7, I mean, I'd have been fine playing them. Obviously, it is what it is, but if they won Game 7, I would have been fine playing them too. So I don't really. The Sixers, 7 seed, they had to get in there. In their opinion, they got a good matchup against the Celtics. So they won a tough series. They momentum, but I think the Knicks are more experienced than that to lose to a team with momentum.
Yeah, I just ask you if there's any scenario where the Sixers could win this series, because I think it's kind of tough to come up with a scenario. Like, I think this bodes really well for the Knicks.
I mean, the thing is, Jalen Brunson really can't hide the series, which I think in the Boston series, he would be able to just guard Sam Hauser. And what does Sam Hauser do? He just spots up and shoots threes, which is basically the whole role players for the Celtics, and we'll get to that. You'll have your time to pass on them, but that's what the role players do. They spot up and shoot threes. But the 76ers, they have a lot more guards and a lot more players. Like, he'll guard Kelly Oubre, but Kelly Oubre is a decent slasher. He'll take advantage of Brunson. Like, the Celtics had I'm not scared, like deathly scared of that. Like, Kelly Oubre can take advantage of Brunson. If Brunson can drop 35, it doesn't matter. But the thing is that the Celtics had a bunch of spot up shooters, and you could stick Brunson on one of them. But now it's kind of a team, the Sixers, that have a bunch of guards that can take them off the dribble, which is why they're different. I think they're a little bit more scarier. Which I think when it got down to the Celtics, Game 7, this is why I would have kind of liked them to play the Celtics more, because you can hide Brunson on a spot-up shooter. Like, I know the Celtics, they want to beat the Knicks, whatever, but they were just, talent-wise, they were done. Jason Tatum didn't look good. I wanted them to play the Celtics. Now, the Sixers, I'm fine with them playing. I think they'll beat them. But I was leaning toward, after Game 7, I was like, please pull this one out. But no, they couldn't, and the Knicks play the Sixers, who they also will beat. But yeah, I think that after game 7, I think that like they put a lot of pressure on Brunson as a defender. They could have a chance in this series.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, I guess they do. I don't know. I probably get too hung up in past results and just the Sixers. I mean, they never get it done. They maybe win a playoff round and then they're done in the second round. I mean, they haven't done anything in a long time. Um, again, they're banged up after what the Knicks did those last 3 games against Atlanta. I mean, the Knicks should win this
I mean, they
series.
kind of rushed Embiid back, you would think, because they had to do something. I mean, let's think about it. They were down 3-1. So they had to put Embiid in at some point. They're like, Embiid, you have to play this game. Like, he probably didn't feel good, but they're going to have to throw him in because why not? And now Embiid's actually going to have to play more than what he thinks he's going to have to play. Which is why I just think that it's impossible to tell him to go another deep series with another talented team, of course, are playing the playoffs. So I don't know. Because think about it, the origin of why they threw Embiid in this series was because they were down 3-1. And was he healthy? No. But obviously he had to keep playing because they kept going into the series. And I think now you get to it, okay, we need to throw Embiid again because now we need the second round. So the origin of Embiid was that he wasn't healthy. And you threw him in because you had to. And now Embiid's playing
Yeah, but how
another
about this?
series.
Even if Embiid was healthy, the Knicks would still be the favorite against the Sixers.
They would be, but I think Embiid actually brings some problems. I think there's a scenario where they would win. I don't think that Embiid's healthy, and if he was, I think there would be a scenario where they would win, where Embiid and Maxey are a duo that's too much for the Knicks. Maxey's too much offensively. Joel Embiid puts Cat in foul trouble. Even Mitchell Robinson can do his best, but Embiid just his mid-range shots too much. Like that stuff. The 76ers have too much ball handlers for the Knicks to deal with. They're too fast for the Knicks. They have VJ Edgecombe has good games in the Garden.
So you
But look,
sound like you're a bit concerned about the series. I'm sure you think the Knicks are going to win, but you don't think it's going to be anything close to a cakewalk.
no, I don't think so. I think that the 76ers are a perfect team to defeat the Knicks. Not like they will because they're not talented enough, but they have guards. They have young guards. VJ Edgecombe's a rookie. Obviously, I don't think he'll do that well in the Garden in playoff games. But I mean, he might because he loves to play in the Garden. Obviously, he's had great games in the Garden. He understands to play there. But I think they have a bunch of guards, and they put a lot of pressure on the Knicks in a lot of different ways. And that's the way the Knicks lost to Indiana. Not saying that the 76ers are like Indiana at all, but that's the thing. Like, it reminds me of like a lot of teams that have beaten the Knicks. You have a bunch of guards. Edgecombe's young and he's a guard. You have Maxey's young, not young, but he's fast. I think he's athletic, fast, and puts a lot of pressure on the Knicks. Kelly Oubre is another forward, but he's fine. PG can just whatever he wants to do. He's gonna give whatever he gives the 76ers is good, is a positive. And you have Embiid that's kind of a wild card, but I don't think it's gonna be a cakewalk. I don't think it is, but I think it will be a tough 6 year. I think it will remind you of the last time the Knicks played the 76ers, where the Knicks might go up 3-1, and then you got a 3-1 game in the Garden, which is where it's just kind of tough. The Knicks don't pull that one out. You have to go back to the Xfinity Center now. I thought it was Wells Fargo. Now it's Xfinity Center. They pull out a tough game there. So I think it's kind of like the Hawks series, but it's a more grind out game 6 than it is an absolute just like domination.
Yeah, I think it's
I
fair to
think
say
it is a Hawks
it'll
series
be
perfectly. I think the Hawks,
probably
yeah,
like the one 2 years ago that they played, but
yeah, which wasn't a cakewalk. Obviously, that was not a cakewalk of a series. I mean, you got 3-1. Obviously, but you probably felt good going up 3-1. But after that game 2, after that ridiculous comeback, Maxey put on a ridiculous show in the Garden in the last 2 minutes of the game.
yeah.
After that,
Didn't he
you're
make that long shot to tie the
yeah
game and send it to overtime?
over Robinson. Like
Yeah, that was some shot.
he's some player too. Yeah,
That
I
was
just
like the shot Mullins made against Duke.
yeah. But I mean, I had more confidence Tyrese Maxey to hit that shot because He's a professional, and he hits those type of shots.
Yeah.
Over Robinson was kind of ridiculous, but that's besides the point. I think that it will be that type of series where it's exact. I think that it will be 1-1 going back to Xfinity Center. I don't think. I mean, it's hard. Do the Knicks take 2 games on home? I also would have liked the Celtics because I like to start on the road. I think that if you steal 1 game on the road, I like starting on the road. I do. I think home court advantage is great. But I think the Knicks could have stole 1 game on the road and against the Celtics team. But 76ers,
I still feel like it would have been worse to play the Celtics. I
do agree with. I do understand.
The Celtics, if the Celtics get it all together, they're better than the Sixers. So I'd rather play the Sixers than the Celtics. But man, obviously there's such problems with the Celtics, and the way the Celtics played against the Sixers, even if the Celtics won last night, good chance the Knicks beat the Celtics. Like I was saying, I thought the Celtics would get revenge against the Knicks. But honestly, if it were Knicks Celtics,
the Knicks would be the betting favorite.
We were talking about that today.
Knicks would probably.
I'd probably pick the Knicks over the Celtics.
The Knicks would 100% be the betting favorite. I think, especially with how Tatum was hurt. I mean, no excuses. Absolutely no excuses. But Tatum was ailing, and I don't think a Jaylen Brown.
No excuses at all. I mean,
no excuses.
Absolutely no excuse for Boston to lose.
But I think that's also if the Celtics would have went farther, I think that's also something that you would have to keep in mind. That obviously a star like Tatum down.
Boston should have won that series even if Tatum was out the whole series. If Tatum never came back this year, Boston should have beaten
round. At least the first round, yes. And you could give I think you could give an argument. You are the Celtics, your prestige, and you don't want to give that. But Tatum was hurt. We didn't get out of the second round, whatever. But you got to get out of the first round. You got to. You have to. No matter what. Because Jaylen Brown is a great player. Oh, he's averaging 30 points. He's Jaylen Brown. I don't care. He can average whatever points he wants to average in the regular season. He can lead whatever team he wants to in the regular season. He can't do it in the playoffs. I mean, not can't do it, but he can't do it alone in the playoffs. He needs a second star. So whatever he can do in the playoffs is whatever he can do in the regular season, whatever. But when it comes to the playoffs, Jaylen Brown's just a player that has a decent handle that just overpowers people. That's about it. That's his whole game. So, but besides 3-point shooting, you'll harper on that. But Jaylen Brown, I mean, man, whatever he puts him in the regular season, whatever. But I don't think he can lead a team by himself. That's why they have Jason Tatum, and all that Jaylen Brown. Oh, Jaylen Brown's this great. Jaylen Brown's better than Jalen Brunson. I don't care. I don't need to hear that because there'll be one player that lead a team that will be over that. That will be in the second round, and Jaylen Brown will be sitting trying to lead a team that he'll get 3-1. Yeah, all that stuff. And it doesn't matter. Celtics go down, and they shoot a bunch of threes, which I think it's time for. I think it's crazy nowadays. Joe Mazzulla's gonna have a job because I think he won that ship. But man, I don't know.
He should be fired. He's not gonna be, but he should be fired
because he won that ship.
What a joke that is, losing that series. Yeah. Jack, honestly, it's a joke they lost to the Knicks last year.
Yeah,
and that's 2 years in a row they've lost series. This one was even worse. But from a Celtics perspective, losing to the Knicks last year was bad.
At least the Knicks
they had 20-point leads in the first 2 games of the series at home.
Now,
they were like minus 900 favorites going into the series.
Yeah.
So I think this one against the Sixers is even worse. Well, if you're losing series like that 2 years in a row, I think the coach should be fired. And I don't like Joe Mazzulla. He's arrogant as can be. He thinks he invented basketball, really reinvented basketball. And their championship in 2024, I'm sorry, they had one of the easiest roads to a championship ever. A title's a title. They won, fine.
That's how Joe Mazzulla's gonna. If Joe Mazzulla didn't win that title, he would be fired by now.
Absolutely, because they were up 2-1 in 2022 against Golden State and didn't win that series, and that was a very winnable series. Oh, and then 2023, they should have been back in the finals, and they lose to the number 8 seed Miami. They were down 3-0 in that series. They come back to tie it at 3, and then they get dominated at home in Game 7 against Miami. So just look at the track record for the Celtics team. Yes, okay, you won a championship. A title's a title. Okay, but
you have
overall body of work, you look at these playoffs, there's something really wrong there.
Yeah.
And there's something that's really wrong, I think, really starts with the philosophy of the team.
Yeah, and
the philosophy starts with Joe Mazzulla, who thinks he reinvented basketball. So he's not going anywhere, but I'd fire him.
What I say to my Celtics fans that I know is obviously screw you. But other than that, it's like you got to understand this. If you don't shoot over 35, 36% from 3, you're not winning. Like, you're not winning.
For 49, and you just keep chucking them up
there.
there?
That shouldn't be it. That shouldn't be it because they have such great players. They have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, who are such great players. I don't care. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm going to say that out loud. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are such great players, but that shouldn't be the way you win. That should not be the way you win because you have such great players as Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You should be winning different ways.
Which it's a joke what they've done.
They probably have a better.
After a championship, they followed up with that loss to the Knicks last year, which, again, they were overwhelming favorites. Nobody thought the Knicks were winning that series before the series. Most people didn't think the Knicks would be competitive. They lose that series, and then this series against the Sixers, most people were saying 4 or 5, and rightfully so. It's like the Sixers don't have Embiid. The Sixers aren't good. Like the Celtics should roll, and they lose the series, and they were up 3-1 in the series. I mean, what a disaster. If the coach ain't going to get fired, when are you going to fire a coach?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if they fire him. I just don't think they will. But
nah, they're not. No, because they're dug in. They probably think he's wonderful. They trust their stupid process, and they're out again.
But they're such a good team, though. They should be able to win.
Well, talent-wise, they are.
They should be able to win. Other than they should be able to win if they shoot like 30% from 3. And I don't know, 31. They should be able to win. The Knicks win, but shooting that percentage, they should be able to win. They have Tatum and Brown. Their skill sets are driving the basket. They should be able to do that, and they should be able to win.
Right, driving to the basket. But
I'm like, yes.
They settle for 3 after 3.
And I'd be like, yes, your team's great. Like, I'd be like, okay, I'm talking to a Boston fan. Yes, your team's great, but you understand the coach. You're only going to win by shooting over 35%, and that's not. There's no knock on the roster as a whole. That's nothing. No knock, but it's just a philosophy. Like. I'm not knocking Jaylen Brown. I'm not knocking as I just knocked Jaylen Brown, but that was a kind of a rant. But I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying it's a philosophy, and it starts at the head of the snake.
Well, Jack, their philosophy is not good. I mean, they were in the finals of 2022. Okay, like they were up 2-1 in that series and lost the next 3 games. But okay, you're in the finals against the Warriors. The Warriors at the tail end of their dynasty. 2023, they should have been in the finals. 2024, they win it. Last year, they should have been in the finals. So they should have been in the finals 4 years in a row. Instead, they were in it 2. So with their level of talent, they should have been a dynasty. But they're not anything close to a dynasty, and now they're a mess. And I don't see how anybody could be hopeful about their future. Yeah, they'll be there. They'll make the playoffs. They'll be up there probably in the Eastern Conference, but they're not competing with the teams out west unless – I don't know what the changes are they got to make, but they need changes.
Yeah, they do.
So they really have massively underachieved.
They need to understand what talent they have on their team. That's what they can build around is the talent. And I that's crazy for me to say, but they need to understand the talent they have on this team. They need to build around that.
Again, their talent, they should have been in the finals 4 years in a row.
They failed to build around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and with this Joe Mazzulla era, they failed to do it. Other than they won, and they won because they had Drew Holiday, which is a ridiculous veteran. He is a championship level player. That guy, you have no matter what you have Drew Holiday, whatever. He's a championship level player. That's why they won, and they had a perfect team. But why they won that series because they had Drew Holiday, who is a defensive genius. But now they don't have that, and now all they have is just people chucking up threes. And they still had that when they chucked up threes with Drew Holiday. But when they won, they had Drew Holiday, and they had the defensive mastermind. Now they don't have that anymore. And now all they do is shoot wide open threes. And they have kind of changed the team other than Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, to just spot up shooters. If you're not Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, you're spotting from the corner.
Yeah, I can't say it enough. I mean, just what a disaster with them.
It is, and
What a joke to lose this series in the
that's a
Sixers.
perfect philosophy to lose a 3-1 series, because if you miss threes, you can lose 3 in a row. Like you can lose, you can have 3. It's just having 3 bad shooting nights. That's all it is. And teams have 3 bad shooting nights in the playoff series, but they win because they have star
And
players.
that's the thing. Their philosophy gets exposed again, and they're still going to stick with it. Like, they're not changing.
No,
They're just going to keep doing it because they just believe, oh, well, I don't know. Like, they're so embedded in their process, and they believe in it. I mean, it's just they're diehards, they're fanatics with it, and they're going to keep doing it. So you know what? They're gonna keep underachieving. So that's good for the Knicks.
yeah,
It's good for the other contenders in the Eastern Conference.
it's you can fall back. You know what the Celtics are going to do. They're going to. I mean, it's hard to say that about Boston, but it is what it is now. I mean, it is what it is now. Like they're just a team that they're just going to do this. They're going to shoot threes and they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. We don't have to beat them. They're going to do it themselves. Like,
and I'll just say this: I mean, we'll never know because the Celtics are out. But I was wrong in my take. Like, the Celtics weren't going to beat the Knicks. Like, they weren't going to get their revenge because they were just going to keep doing their thing. And,
all they want to do,
the Knicks after beating the Hawks the way they did, and the Knicks with their veteran team and their experience, and the Knicks beating them last year, like, the Knicks would have beat them again. I'm changing my take. Again, we're never going to know that for sure because the series isn't going to happen. But that's where I'm at right now. And honestly, like, if it's Knicks Celtics next year in the playoffs, I'm picking the Knicks because you know what, the Celtics are just so dug in what they do, and the Knicks, I just think the Knicks will get them again.
Yeah, I just they beat themselves, and it's odd for a team like that, like an organization like that, to stand with that type of philosophy. We're gonna just shoot ourselves in the foot every year. Like, it's hard. Like, that's like the Yankees. I mean, I know what the Yankees are or whatever, but it's just like them shooting them. Obviously, like, you can see it. Them just shoot. I mean, it's not the Yankees haven't won a lot, but it's just like a team like that, a very like illustrious organization, just shooting themselves in the foot every year, and the higher ups just being like, "We're gonna do that again. Let's just do that again. It's gonna work one time."
Yeah,
like, it's hard to say that because it's the Boston Celtics. Like, we shouldn't talk about them like that, but we are.
Yeah,
like,
but you know what though? Yeah, it's the Boston Celtics, but they're not what they once were. I know they're still a very good organization. I think that's a little bit overrated.
Yeah,
they've won 2 championships in the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, they're still one of the best organizations in the NBA, no question. But they're
the Knicks.
They're not nearly what they were.
Man, the East looks.
And they hold themselves back. And you said they shoot themselves in the foot. They hold themselves back. They beat themselves. So, the Knicks aren't going to beat themselves the way the Celtics do. That's what I'm saying. Like, these 2 teams matched up again in the postseason, which they're not this year. But going forward, I'm taking the Knicks. I'm changing my tune on that. The Celtics aren't getting their revenge because they're going to beat themselves. The Knicks aren't going to beat themselves.
Yeah.
And the Knicks will get it done in the clutch like they did last year, and that's the way it's going to go.
Bigger picture for New York. If they make the ECF or they make the finals, like, even if they make the finals and they lose to, like, OKC, okay, we know we'll get back. I mean,
now I think it's really finals or bust for the Knicks. Like, the path is opened.
And it will be open next year as well. I just not like to say that at all, but like they win and they go to the finals and they don't win the finals, they could probably get another shot at OKC. Like, they probably get 2 shots at OKC. If they really like hone in and they really become like a team, like they could have 2 shots at OKC. And
no question. I mean,
I think
you just got to get to the finals this year first. Get that done. Like, the path is open. Like, I feel a lot better about their path to the finals now.
Even if the
sure you do.
Game 7, I don't care. They're a flawed team. They don't have shooters. They don't have guys who can take the ball off the dribble.
I missed what you said. Who's flawed?
Pistons.
Oh yeah, well, right. Like, you look at the Pistons going to 7 against the Magic. We'll see how that goes today.
To be fair, they did come back from 3-1, and it's like, okay, that's
I'm not.
something.
Honestly, Jack, I'm not giving any credit for that. I mean, you're a 1
Yeah.
seed. You're going to the 7th game with an 8 seed. We're not talking about some remarkable 8. Remarkable is a strong word, but we're not talking about the Heat
It's a solid 8
from
seed.
3
It's
years
not, it's not
ago.
remarkable.
We're not talking about the 99 Knicks. Like, we're not talking about an 8 seed that you were thinking, oh man, like this team's really underseeded. You know, this is a much better team than an 8 seed. Like, people weren't talking about that going into the series. People were talking about the Pistons should coast, and here they are fighting for their lives today. So you got to feel worse about the Pistons right now. You got to feel better about the Knicks. The Celtics are out. I mean, the Knicks are the favorite in the East. They are. I didn't think they were before the playoffs. I had them third in the East. I was wrong. They're the favorite now. And I can't say like I'm overwhelmingly confident they're getting to the finals. But man, like they are the favorite.
They have to beat
and then
themselves.
Let's see what let's see if the Pistons get by today, then they should have a second round series against either one of their potential opponents, Cleveland or Toronto, that they
should beat the Toronto.
They win it comfortably, but who knows with who knows with the Pistons? Like we gotta
Toronto, Cleveland are food. Like they're not fraudulent, but I wouldn't say Toronto's fraudulent because they're doing a great job. Like Toronto is doing a great job. Like they're going to 7. Toronto for the first time, like they've been in the gutter. I think a few years, like rebuilding, but they really sped up this rebuild and they're going 7. So good for them. But man, does that side of the bracket look like food, like for New York? Like if the Pit, I think the Pistons are gonna, like, if they beat whoever wins this. In my opinion, whoever wins this series is gonna beat Toronto or Cleveland. So whoever wins between the Pistons and the Magic are gonna see the Knicks. I mean, if we knock on wood, is gonna see the Knicks in the ECF. So I think the Magic are solid, and I think that Toronto or Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland would beat Orlando. I think Cleveland is too mentally weak to beat Orlando, and too mentally weak to beat Detroit. So I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I don't think you could feel overwhelmingly confident against the Knicks because, like you said, the inconsistencies with them, like those could show up despite these last 3 games, how great they were.
I would love for Orlando to beat Detroit, definitely 100%.
Oh my God! I mean, if Orlando beats Detroit today, I mean the Knicks should walk to the finals.
Man, you shouldn't, because you bring up the thing, and when we did the preview, is the Knicks are going to lose because of the Knicks. And I wanted to, because then I don't want you to say that because they should walk to the finals because, again, Philly's not going to be a cakewalk. I mean, it is sunshine and rainbows compared to like what we're supposed to see, which is Boston fully ready, and you would get the Pistons, like if the Pistons weren't fraudulent.
The Pistons are up 60-49 at halftime, so they're probably.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean,
they're probably going to seal the deal. I mean, it's not over.
But that building's rocking.
I just wonder with the Pistons, like, is this just okay? You didn't play well in the first round. You flirted with danger. You survived this, and now they take off. Like, can you see a scenario there where it's like the Pistons, like it's survive in advance?
Yeah.
And then they lock in, and they are a really good team. And like, I could see that happening. I don't feel as good about the Pistons as I did. Not that I felt great about them because, they are an inexperienced team. But I mean, I guess it's possible. Like they survive today, but they kind of get themselves going. They're going to be okay, and they're still going to be a really tough out.
But think about New York. I think that happened in New York last year. Not like the same thing. Like New York was not the 1 seed. I don't want to say that at all. But New York had a tough series in the first round. Got exposed. Not exposed, but like really got together. Like they really got together as a team because they got punched in the mouth by Detroit, but they still came out and won in 6. This is a 7-game series, so it's kind of not similar at all. But I'm just saying, like a team that really, like the Pistons could be grounded by this series, be like, we knew, like they could understand. Okay, we got exposed this way. Let's work on that, because maybe they get a cakewalk first round series and they don't know anything about them and they get run in, and maybe they get like punched in the mouth by Cleveland, and now it's a different. Like Cleveland, I mean, I think Cleveland punched them in the mouth, and maybe they still win, but then they get punched in the mouth for the first time by New York, and that's just a lot. Like, you don't get punched in the mouth until you play New York. That could be it, because you see how they get punched in the mouth. I mean, I think New York would clean up the Pistons if it was the first time they got punched in the mouth. Like, I think the New York would sweep them if the Pistons walked in like they walked in this series. They're getting
Well, I
swept or
don't
they're
think
losing.
that's going to happen in a series against the Knicks.
No, I don't think so. But they had to get punched in the mouth the first time by Orlando to really realize like who they are. But I guess you
Well,
can argue
that's
like,
what I'm saying is, this series, will it just serve as a wake-up call? Like, they didn't
but
play
you could
well.
argue that Knicks would be a wake up call anyway to them. Like, you're playing New York, that's a wake up call to anybody. Like, okay, we need to lock in. Like, I think that'd be a lock in moment for them too. Like, playing New York as a whole, like before even the ball tips off in game one, could be like, okay, look what they did last season. Look what they did to All-Star Thompson, put him on the ground to lose a series. That could be something they'd be like, okay, like that's even a punt. That's even a thing to look at even before going the series. You could say that too. Like, do you really need to get punched in the mouth? Because New York as a whole is a motivator to go into a series with them. But I mean, you could be like, okay, it's good to get punched in the mouth, but New York, I mean, I think New York would light up their eyes even before they play.
Yeah, and as far as this series here, like, this is not
I
good.
don't think they need this because they obviously are motivated by playing the Knicks, so I don't think they need to get punched in the mouth. I think that's also another thing. Like, they obviously destroyed New York every single time they played in the regular season, which is what it is. The regular season, take it for what it is. But they were mad. Like, they wanted to like prove a point. So I don't think I think they're
Yeah, and
motivated.
again, I don't know how much stock you
They
could take
want
in regular
to
season
the
matchups.
mentality.
I think it means a little bit, but I don't know how much.
Yeah, but the
Um,
mentality was like, I'm mad. I want to prove a point, and that could be a motivator going into a playoff series. I don't know. I would love to. That's why I would love to see Orlando, because the Pistons, I know that they could be flawed, but sometimes the motivator
well,
is
of
too
course, you'd rather
strong.
play the Magic than the Pistons. Absolutely.
Yeah, but 100%.
I mean, it'd be great for the Knicks if the Magic came back today and won, of course.
Desmond Bain, please.
But you got to feel good about the Knicks right now. I mean, I know
Yeah.
you were feeling pretty good about them anyway. I feel better about them. I'm still like, all right, are they going to take off now? Are we still going to see some inconsistency there? Is this series going to be tougher than it should? I
Yeah,
don't
we were
know.
really too high on Detroit. We really said Detroit was going to be like this team.
Well, I'm not giving up on Detroit, though. I mean, like,
I'm not. I'm
this
not.
series was bad for them, and it'd be a disaster if they lose today. But this series was bad for them. They take a hit for this. They don't look as good as they did prior to the postseason started. But I could also see this being, a survive and advance thing, a wake up call, and then they get the ship right, and then they're going to be really tough. But I definitely like the Knicks' chances of getting the finals. I say a lot better than I did before the playoffs started. Before the playoffs, like, man, it's going to be a grind. I don't see them winning 3
And if
series.
Toronto beats Cleveland, we're feeling good as well. I mean, I know Cleveland's nothing, but like the Knicks would dominate Toronto. I mean, the Knicks would dominate anybody. Ignore what I said, because they would dominate both teams. But the Raptors.
Oh, I don't even bring the Raptors
I
or
don't even care
Cavaliers
about that.
into
The Knicks would
consideration.
dominate either team. But my thing is that I don't know.
Again,
It's
look,
whatever.
Jack. I mean,
That's what I say about the next
The
year.
Knicks should take care. They should take care of business in this next round. You broke it down extremely well, as you always do. Like, the Sixers are on a pushover. The Sixers can win the series. Like, slim chance. It's like no chance. We're not talking about some 1-8 matchup in the first round, or like Thunder Suns. Like, no chance. We're not talking that. We're talking slim chance. We're talking major upset.
What do you compare this as an upset between the Hawks and the Knicks? Do you feel like better? Like, I don't know how to word this, but do you feel like between the Hawks and Knicks series, do you feel better or worse than you did with the Hawks being the Knicks? How would you like rate that? Like, do you feel?
Well,
How I don't know how to say that, but
I guess you got to say the Sixers have a better chance of beating the Knicks than the Hawks did.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. But yeah,
But
I
I don't
think
think the Hawks had much of a chance going into the series. I know that it got a bit dicey, but even at 2-1, we both thought the Knicks would win the series. I had said I thought it was going to go 7 because of the Knicks' inconsistencies, but they'd win in 7. And then, look, they just absolutely dominated. Game 6 was just out of this world. But I'd say the
they had
Sixers have
Clyde
a better
Frazier
chance to beat the
interviewing.
Knicks
Yeah,
than the Hawks did, but I think it's slim. If Embiid were healthy, the Sixers would have more of a chance. But I'm not a believer in the Sixers. Like to me, they're one of those teams. It's just they're not built for it. The Knicks are certainly a lot more built for it. So I think you got to feel very good about the Knicks' chances in this round.
yeah.
And you got to hope that this domination against the Hawks is going to propel the Knicks to really take off. Like
That
the
was
Knicks,
perfect team basketball.
the Knicks
That's
found something now where it's all clicking, and now they're just going to take off, and they're going to be a real force. Get to the finals. Going to be really tough against Oklahoma City, but you got a puncher's chance there.
Yeah, because what the media does in New York is they say all this stuff is luck and whatever. But I mean, yes, I could say half of it is you're just knocking out every shot you put up, but half of it is, man, they're cooking as a team. Like, man, this is the most impressive performance I've seen as a team in a long time.
I mean, you have to be impressed by what they did.
But all the media is going to say, oh, it's luck, it's whatever. Like, oh,
it's not luck.
But no,
look, I think you have to feel better about the Knicks now. If anybody doesn't, that's ridiculous. I just don't know how much better I feel about them. But that's what makes it interesting, Jack. It's it's not so predictable. There was a time in the NBA it was so predictable. Like the playoffs were boring. It was like you almost knew who was going to be in the finals, or maybe there were 3 or 4 teams that could get there. I mean, this is more interesting because you don't know for sure. At least in the East, it's more wide open and it's competitive.
San Antonio could come out the West. I mean, I don't know all about that. I mean, I think.
Why don't we shift gears to the West? Why don't you break down the West and tell us what you think about the first round of the West? So the first round of the West has concluded. None of those series went 7. Remarkably, 3 Game 7s in the East. So why don't you break down the West? What happened in the first round, and then how about we make second round predictions?
Yeah, Thunder 4-0 against the Suns. I mean, there's nothing really to talk about, man. Thunder are just the Thunder are a professional team. Like they'll if they see a team they're worse than, they won't mess around. They'll just beat them in 4. And you got Lakers Rockets. I mean, the Rockets. Kevin Durant never got off of his seat. Never got off of my leg hurts. Oh, I'm gonna lose. I'm just gonna sit down. And Lakers took care of business. They'll probably lose in the next round, but it is what it is. Wolves Nuggets. The Wolves win in 6 because the Nuggets are a bad defensive team and they're kind of washed. And Jokic is going to get used in the Jokic is defensively is not good, and you could pick him apart. And also give me 1 second. Oh, Detroit, Minnesota. I mean, Denver, Minnesota. That was a series where Minnesota, you got to give credit. I mean, they're going to be banged up, so it's going to be a kind of cakewalk for whoever plays against them next, because Anthony Edwards is going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. So that's going to be a cakewalk there in the West for whoever plays them. But it was a gritty performance. That's what Minnesota's going to do with Anthony Edwards at the helm. Great defensive team, grind you out, and they're like the perfect team to beat Denver. And then Spurs at Trailblazers. I mean, for a young team to really kind of take professional, that was a professional series, professional win for a young team is impressive. I mean, De'Aaron Fox kind of led to them that. I mean, De'Aaron Fox has some playoff experience. I mean, you play against the Warriors in that first round. I mean, that's the playoff experience there. But he kind of put them as the veteran presence and kind of put them to bed, the Trailblazers. And then it's going to be whoever. I think they're going to play the Wolves. So they're going to have themselves, and they're going to be the UCF. So, yeah. that's about it for the Western Conference. Broke that down. It's a lot of nothing. I mean, it's a lot of nothing. I mean, there's something to be said about Kevin Durant, you know, being a loser, but that's about it.
He really is.
Um,
I mean, everybody coming in that series, oh, the Rockets are going to roll and beat the Lakers, and it wasn't even close to that. Yeah, but you went pretty quickly through the West, which is what the West warrants. I mean, it's
gonna be fun to see San Antonio Thunder. It's gonna be fun to see. Well, I mean, I spoiled it for everybody. Oh, whatever. But
So
I mean,
you don't give Minnesota much of a chance against San Antonio?
Anthony Edwards is out for like 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I would. I mean, he kind of. I mean, you would think that you want at least. I was like, okay, Denver, can you please come back from 3-1 because at least that would be good basketball. But I think Minnesota. There's another hand that said Minnesota deserved it. Like Denver deserved to go home, and they deserved to get embarrassed and go home in first round. But then there's another side. It's like, okay, Denver, can you make good? Like that would be at least better television than just without Anthony Edwards, Minnesota. But who knows? Julius Randle, number one option, got the Knicks to the playoffs. I don't think they'll do anything against the Spurs, but who knows? I think the Western Conference will break down first. I mean, Thunder, Lakers. Thunder's gonna win. I think they'll get back Luka and Austin Reeves for that series, but I don't think that matters. I think Thunder are gonna win. They're professional about it. They
you think the
understand.
Lakers will take a game?
Yeah, I think the Lakers will take a game. I think LeBron and Austin Reeves at least will take a game, but I think the Thunder will take the series.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll give the Lakers and LeBron. You said Reeves, mostly LeBron. Yeah, I'll give them that.
They have a second player with them. I don't think if they had a player like Austin Reeves with LeBron, like if it was just LeBron James.
Oh no, I don't mean to disrespect Austin Reeves.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that. No, but I just said if it was just LeBron James, like it was early in the Rockets series, even though they did win, but it was because Durant was out. I wouldn't give them a chance to win a game, but I mean, like, I actually want to see the Luka.
I could see it being a sweep, but I'd say gentleman's sweep. Lakers will get a game. They'll get a game in LA.
I want to see about Luka. Luka's going to be interesting. I don't think it matters, but I mean, Luka Doncic is always in the playoffs. It's fun to watch. So, these 6 to 8 weeks. Doncic has been a couple of weeks now running. Therefore, he's not close to returning. Okay, so he's not close to returning. That sucks. I mean, I wanted to see Luka play in the playoffs. That'd have been cool, at least. I think Thunder would have won, but it'd been cool to see Luka. But yeah, Thunder's going to win, and the Spurs are going to win. So that's going to be the Eastern Conference Finals. That's going to be great television.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's going to be great.
I mean, the Western Conference
East,
the Western Conference is different than the East, I think, because I don't know if you're going to say that, but I think the Western Conference they have a like a worse kind of beginning. Like if you're going to do a TV show, like a worse kind of beginning, but then the ending is just pure hoops. But I think the beginning is, the intro and that stuff of the movie or show is just not good. But then you get to the ending, that's like
that's a great way to describe the West. So then in the East, how about we made conference semis predictions, and then let's move to some baseball. I'm going to talk baseball in at least a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So then the Eastern Conference semifinals. So Knicks, Sixers, we talked a ton about. But what's your prediction for the series?
Knicks
at how many games?
6.
So you're giving the Sixers quite a bit of respect with 6 games. I'll do the same thing, Jack. I'll give the Sixers that. We'll see how healthy Embiid is.
I think the 6 games close. I think it's close. I think it's the 6 games close. I mean, I'm not going to give.
I still feel like the Knicks have a clunker in them. Like they're going to have just one game in the series where they stink. But I think they'll play well. They're going to clearly show they're a better team.
Maybe.
I'm with you. I say in 6. But then I kind of hesitate because is it going to be a 2-2 series? Or is it going to be 3-1 and the Knicks clunkers at home in Game 5? Like, is it going to be like 2 years ago? They're up 3-1. they lose game 5 at home and they win game 6 on the road? Or is it actually going to be a 2-2 series? Like I don't know that I see it being. I don't know that I see
New York
it
in the first 2 games, and that's Knicks got to take care of business, home court advantage in the first 2 games. They have to.
Yeah.
But obviously,
Jack, I do feel better about the Knicks now. Like, look, obviously they're a very good team.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm saying like I think there'll be a clunker in there, but I don't.
But a clunker and then maybe like a Maxey and Embiid type.
Honestly,
game.
Jack, I'm gonna be the optimist here. I'm gonna say
maybe just still have one clunker. I mean,
maybe this is a bad sign for the Knicks that I'm becoming optimistic. I'm gonna say Knicks in 5 because I think the clunker is going to be it's either going to be game 2 or game 3, and then they're going to get their stuff in order.
I think
the Knicks will come out and play a very good game 1. The Sixers are going to be fatigued, short turnaround. The Knicks are either going to clunk game 2 in the Garden or game 3 in Philly. One of those two. But then I think they're going to be all right. They're going to finish the series strong and they'll close it out the Garden 5.
I mean, I was going to say, Knicks have played so many playoff series. It reminds me of the series Cavs-Knicks. I think that could be the way they could win. Is that the way?
Was that the 2023 series, that first round series?
I think so. I mean,
the Knicks won that one in 5.
Yeah. So I mean, but I think they could like you could say, okay, they lose game 2 because how much of a home court advantage would Cleveland has obviously a more home court advantage than 76ers do, so I don't think it really matters like when they're going to lose. Like I don't think it mattered if they lose on the home or on the road. I think it mattered in Knicks versus Cleveland because Cleveland did get up for that series. So, and it did matter. They took 2 at home, but I don't think it mattered. I think that's the difference. I don't think it matters now against 76ers if they win at home or not.
And then how about this? Do you think, because the matchup isn't set yet, so then Pistons going to win today? Are they going to hold on here?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, I think they do. I mean,
and then who wins Toronto-Cleveland tonight?
Man, this is a good one. I want to see Cleveland lose so badly because RJ Barrett, I love him, and then Emmanuel Quickly. I don't think he's playing the series. Big fan of those guys. Big fan of Toronto. Big fan of what they have going on. Not like I'm a huge fan.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
I'll say Toronto pulls it off just because Cleveland's such a fraud. I can still see them losing tonight in their own building.
You see that RJ shot was ridiculous. Off the heel of the rim. Reminded me of the Kawhi shot, but also reminded me of some PTSD from Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
Man,
will the Pistons get through to the conference finals? Are we going to see Knicks Pistons?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I think.
I think if Detroit wins this year, I think it's weird. I think that's weird. You're Jack. Like sounds weird, doesn't it? Like if Detroit wins a series because they had a terrible first round series, they're gonna win it. Oh yes, I mean that sounds weird, obviously, but it is what it is. I don't think Cleveland and Toronto are good at all. But I mean, it kind of is weird because you would think the 4 and the 5 seed would kind of take advantage of if the 1 seed had a bad first round. But it's not this. It's not the type of it's not a type of playoff format this year. Like I think the playoff format this year is if you get past Orlando, you feel good. And it sounds weird because they are the 8th seed, but if you get past them, you're going to be in the ECF against New York.
So why don't we shift gears and do some baseball?
Yeah.
It's been a couple weeks. I don't know if it's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We definitely didn't do baseball yet last week. Rightfully so. I mean, NBA playoffs is the focus now. Last week we did the NFL draft. So, Jack, you want to give us some thoughts on the Mets? I mean, what a disaster that is. I mean, where are you at with them?
They can't hit. It doesn't matter like what you do, what players you bring in, they can't hit. Nothing you can do, man. They can't hit a baseball, and it's actually thank goodness we're talking basketball because it is what I mean. If the Knicks weren't good, I would not be happy right now. So, yeah. David, the thing of you like this because I think that David Stearns is a real analytics guy. He didn't look at he thinks, Devin Williams, he's whatever, he got unlucky in New York. But if you actually look at Devin Williams, I think that's just an example. They have more problems than that. But if you look at Devin Williams, he's a player that would struggle. Is going to struggle again. But because you look at the analytics, you're like, oh, he got unlucky. You bring him in because you thought he got unlucky. And if you looked at you look with your eyeballs, you would see that he's a bad player and will play bad again. I mean, not a bad player, but he's a struggling player, and he'll struggle again in Queens. I just think that they use a lot of analytics, and they thought, oh, they were Mr. like analytics driven, and I think it punched him in the butt. I think it got him in, like, they thought they were just this okay, Luis Robert. Oh, we're gonna make him very good. I just think they should have spent their money better, and they spent their money on. We look at analytics and we think they're going to be good in this 2026 season, but instead they should have just used their money on just actual players that are good.
Yeah,
100%. But instead they use their money on players like Luis Robert that you think are going to be good because stats will say, oh, he goes to New York in a winning organization, he'll play well. But New York's not a winning organization. New York Mets are a winning organization, so. Like,
any hope for them turning this around, or is this season over?
This season's over because they're not going to fire Mendoza, and I obviously wouldn't because I don't think there's a point. I mean, I wouldn't.
You could do it just to shake things up, but I don't think that'll make much of a difference.
Yeah,
he's not the problem.
He's not the problem, and I also wouldn't. I wouldn't waste money on this team that just isn't good. I want to waste even more money by figuring another coach. Like, what's the point? Like,
I think if the Knicks, if the Mets were in the American League, they wouldn't be out of it because the American League is weak. The National League is far better than the American League. So the Mets being in this National League this year, I think they're done.
Yeah. It's a tale of just analytics. Trying to build.
So are you done with Stearns, or do you think that he's still a good GM and this is just a terrible offseason and this roster just doesn't cut it? But are you still optimistic that he can learn from this and change? Not that he's going to give up on his philosophy, he's not, but make some changes and approach the deadline, sell off at the deadline, and then next offseason make changes to the approach that are going to put a better product in the field for next year. So do you think Stearns is still the guy, or are you done with him?
It doesn't matter what I say because they're not going to get rid of him. So
he's not going anywhere.
I just don't. I think that, like, he is given so much money and he figures out a way to just not, like, spend it right. Like, it's like the worst team money can buy. Like, you put that lineup together, and I thought I was so happy about it, whatever. But there's a thing in my mind, like, this could end up being the worst team money could buy, and it is. I mean, it just is. Like, I'm just because I can't give him any excuses because he was given all that money, all that, like, wiggle room to make a deal. Because Steve Cohen was like, whatever he wanted, Steve Cohen would have gave to him. That's my thing. Like, anything that he would have wanted.
Yeah, and this was the guy that Cohen wanted. He gets him.
Yeah, and he doesn't get.
This is what you get. You get last year's disaster, and then this year's disaster is even worse.
Like, I just don't know, because he just loves his analytics. He loves to bring in pitchers that, analytics say they're going to be better this season because last season they did whatever, and they're not going to be that. But he just doesn't look with his eyes. His team is not and I think it's a lot about other teams too, but this just bites Stearns in the butt a lot, especially him, because he just loves to bring in these guys. I mean, I think it did with Jose Siri. They tried to bring him in to be the center fielder. He never touched the field. You try to bring in Jorge Polanco because you think they're going to change him, and because analytics say if you play first base, you get more hitting and whatever. But no, he hasn't played because he's injured. He's injury prone because they don't look at that. They just look at what looks better on analytics. And I think there's a problem with everybody else, but I think it's mostly with the Mets because they got all the money in the world to just not just be like, forget analytics. we have eye test and we're just going to sign all the big guys. But instead, they try to thread a needle and get players that you think that will, if they're in a winning team, maybe they'll be good. And they just try to thread a needle when you don't need to. And that's what David Stearns loves to do, is thread the needle when he doesn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you said it all. It's just such a mess. I mean, again, with the Mets, you think this year's going to be better, and things have changed. And how many years has Cohen been the owner now? Is it 5 years, 6 years?
I don't know.
And it's really the same old stuff with them. I mean, he's clearly a better owner than the Wilpons were, but this is a mess. And I'm with you. This season's over. I mean, they're not coming back from this. Another thing with Major League Baseball, I mean, you have a lockout looming. Like there's going to be a lockout. Like it sounds like that's a certainty. And then it sounds like it could be a long lockout, and it could go into next season and go significantly to next season. So that's another factor with Major League Baseball. So like for the Mets with this disastrous year,
maybe a lockout. Maybe they figure out.
It's like, when are the Mets even going to get their next chance to be a competitive team? There really is so much up in the air with Major League Baseball, which not the time to talk about it now, but as we get into next offseason, like after the World Series, it's going to be like, all right, we're talking
the optimism.
The offseason will start, but then the CBA is going to run out. It's going to expire on December 1st, and you're going to be dealing with that situation. So that's going to be the baseball talk. I mean, you had a lockout after the 21 season, so almost 5 years ago, and then it delayed spring training, and it delayed the start of the 2022 season by about a week. But you didn't lose any games. You still played 162. It sounds like this is going to be far worse. So that's
optimism. Yeah,
that's something that affects everyone. But like for the Mets, it's like, all right, like this season's shot, and then you get this lockout looming. It's like, when is the next time you're going to have an opportunity to see the Mets try to be a competitive team on the field?
The only optimism I would have is if they do something, like they cut the money or something. Like Stearns would be the perfect guy to have. Like, I mean, not the perfect guy, but he'd be a pretty good guy now. I feel like he'd be like the guy that he'd actually be able to use his skill sets. But like he has all the money when he wouldn't have all the money in the world. I don't know. This was in time for the New York Mets to really make a move and really like they're trying to get big bats. Like I don't care. I really couldn't care less, because you had a big bat in Pete Alonso when you try to get.
Well, how much did they miss Alonso?
They miss Alonso a lot. I don't care. He's a 660 OPS. I don't care, because that's higher than Bo Bichette's OPS. And he also has 4 home runs. And it's also his week. He's also we know he can do better than that. So it's just he's having like a weak stretch, and he still has a better OPS than Bo Bichette. He still has a better OPS than most players in the Mets with a 680 OPS. I don't care. Yeah, I honestly don't care.
And they miss who he was to the Mets. He was a Met. He was there for a long time. He was a prolific power hitter, clutch in the postseason, clutch in big spots. And that's the stuff that analytics doesn't care about. So it just shows the severe flaws of analytics. I mean, you go on and on about the severe flaws of analytics. There's a place for analytics. There's a place for metrics. There's a place for data. No question about it. But when it's done fanatically and to the extreme, like a lot of these guys do in sports now, it holds you back. It hurts your team. It hurts your organization. And then guys like Alonso you view as expendable. Oh, it doesn't matter that he's a lifelong Met. It doesn't matter what he brings to the culture of the team. Never mind, he was a prolific power hitter. It wasn't just, he's a culture guy, which he was. But yeah, it's the productivity with the bat that he brought, and you don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's just whatever you say about his OPS isn't that high right now. I don't care, because
I don't care either. I don't think that
because obviously he has a 743 OPS. He has a 743 OPS, and that would be probably the second best in the Mets after like Juan Soto. Like I'm being honest. Like that'd be like Juan Soto's like a 9-something OPS, and then you would have like Pete Alonso with 743, and he'd probably have a better like thing batting behind Juan Soto or in front or whatever. Like he
Yeah,
would have probably
you're right.
like, and then I don't know. But then you can say, "Oh, the Orioles are a better team because the Mets suck."
The Orioles aren't that good.
Yeah, they aren't that good, and
they're mediocre so far. I think the Orioles are in
and
the
you
mix
had
of
the
the
money to
American
bring
League.
in
They're
Alonso
certainly
too. But you just because you look at analytics, you say, "Oh, he's expendable," and the Mets could still win. When I crunch the numbers, the Mets could still win 88 games because I crunched the numbers, put in the analytics. The Mets could still win 88 games.
clearly there's flaws in the way they crunch the numbers. However
Because they
that
crunch the
works, I
numbers
am
here.
not an analytics person. I can't break it down, but the algorithms and that stuff, the computers, clearly there's a lot of flaws in the Mets crunching of the numbers and other teams
Yeah,
as well. Just, we're talking about the Boston Celtics. They're crunching the numbers. Clearly this stuff is not foolproof. Clearly there's a lot of errors. There's a lot of shortcomings when it comes to the analytics. And the Mets, have a GM that lives and dies by it, and right now they're dying by it, and
I
their
feel bad
season's
for
over.
Mendoza.
I mean, it's May 3rd, and the Mets season's over. It just really is. Like they're not coming back into the race in the National League. The National League's too good.
And I feel bad for Mendoza because, like, I don't feel bad because, like, obviously he's had moments that you can pick apart that, like, he's had bullpen moments where he doesn't put in the right guy. He pinch hit for somebody that's very good. But, I mean, that doesn't matter. I mean, he's going to lose his job because the analytics department sucks and because David Stearns wants to thread the needle. And I think obviously with a better team, Mendoza's liked. I think that's a thing. Like, he's liked
And are Mets fans really complaining much about Mendoza?
they're complaining because they want to shake up of something. And I understand that too. There's a side of coin.
But it seems to me like Mets fans don't have a problem with the way he manages games.
Well, because he's like players want to play for him. It's not like he lost the locker room. I think that's the thing. I mean, I think losing that much, the locker room is pissed off, and I don't think he lost the locker room. I think that the thing is that he's a nice guy, and he'll bring the team back. He'll give the team huddles, and he'll make the team play. He'll make the team play, go out there and play every single day. But
he'll eventually be a scapegoat.
Yeah, and I
don't know if it's
hate
going to
that
happen during the
because
season, but he's probably going to be out of a job after this year at the latest.
yeah, because and it sucks.
It's not his fault, but that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and it's a results-driven league, so I don't really care what these stars in the press conference want to say. Oh, we love playing for Mendoza. Obviously, you have to say that, but it's a results-driven league, and I think they are. They are probably true with that. I think players want to play for Carlos Mendoza. He's a nice guy. He doesn't lose locker rooms, but. And it showed in his run in with Alonso in that run to the conference. I'm so like basketball, but the run to the conference finals.
LCS.
Yes, yeah, I'm so NBA focused right now.
Yeah.
But the run to that, and he obviously was his big thing because he was the guy that they suited up every day for Carlos Mendoza because. They were in the dumps in that season, but they suited up because they had a manager they wanted to play for. And I just hate that this is going to happen to a guy that I really like. I think that is obviously, yes, he's not the greatest manager ever, but no one is. No one is.
You need the talent. You don't have the talent, you're not going to win. And there's a
and
talent
also,
problem with the Mets.
I get it when it's in a results-driven league, but why can't it be a results-driven league to the analytics department? But it's a results-driven league when it comes to the manager. So, I mean, it is the manager always, results-driven league for him. But I mean, can it be a results-driven league for the analytics department? That's my question too. Like, if you say results,
it will be eventually, but it does seem that Cohen, is just a major fan of Stearns. He's been a fan of him for a long time. Wanted to bring him in. That was the guy I wanted. Here he is. It's not going well. It's a disaster right now, but it doesn't seem like Cohen has any thoughts of making a change anytime soon.
Yep, it's his money. He's thrown it down the toilet to a guy that tries to thread the needle and still spends the money. Like he's still spending the money. Steve Cohen gives him, but he's just throwing it down the toilet, trying to get like $20 million for Luis Robert, who's given him like no. He's given him like I don't even know if his defense is really that good, and his offense obviously isn't good by the stats. I mean, he had a good start to the season, but then it's been whatever, and then all that money for $20 million for like Jorge Polanco, who hasn't suited up at all at first base. It feels like, and he's not suited up at all for the last like few weeks. It's terrible because he's used all the money Steve Cohen has given him. Like he's used it all, probably. Maybe not all, but he's used it. But it's just he just threw it down the toilet, and the players that he thinks that will be breakout candidates, and these aren't because he looks at analytics and say, oh, Jorge Polanco with this lineup will be whatever. I'm not gonna. Let's just change the topic. We're gonna go in this whole thing about analytics, and it could be its whole different topic.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about analytics.
Yeah, it is what it is, and I think it is. I honestly think that is the Mets' problem right now. I think it is. I think it honestly is because I mean, and I think I'm right with that. I think I broke the Mets down perfectly. I think that's their problem. Like that's their problem exactly. Is that they have an analytics department that sucks, and they have a GM that also like looks at the analytics department and just is a robot to them. Like it's just. Oh, the analytics department is David Stearns. Like GMs could be like, okay, analytics department. I understand what you said. I understand what you're saying and what you're punching the numbers in. But I respect this guy. I want to bring him back or whatever. I want to bring him in. I want to trade for this guy, but I respect that you don't like him and because of the analytics. But I want to bring this guy in. But David Stearns just looks at the analytics department and just does what they want. I mean, not what they want, but what they punch in. Like he could do his own thing. Like he could obviously look at it and make some moves on that. But he could do his own thing, but he just decides not to. And the great GMs do look at analytics, and they also do their own thing. Look around the league, man. Look around the league at the best teams, and they look at analytics, but they also make the moves necessary.
Yeah, you got to have analytics, and you got to have the human element. You got to have the other factors. You got to have, let's just say, both. The analytics, the human element. I mean, there's a lot of factors there, but it can't just be all analytics driven. I mean, data is important. You got to, but baseball's always been using data. Sports has always been using data. I know it's now more sophisticated with the modern analytics, which has value, but I do think it goes way too far, and I think it holds a lot of teams back. I think it's clearly holding the Mets back. It holds the Red Sox back. It holds the Celtics back. I mean, there's plenty of examples if you really go through it. But Jack, let's wrap here. Another great show. Talked a lot of NBA, talk about the Knicks as they go to the conference semifinals, take on the Philadelphia 76ers.
An update, the Pistons are up 20. So
so that one I think we could say is over. So the Pistons will advance. We'll see Toronto and Cleveland tonight. And the next time we have a show, we'll be probably in the middle of the second round and breaking down how Knicks Sixers has gone so far, and then the other three conference semifinals series as well.
And also, I'll be in the Garden for game 2. So
excellent. Enjoy, Jack. That's Wednesday night, correct?
Yeah.
Enjoy that. Place be rocking.
Yep. All right, everybody. Have a nice day. Let's go Knicks.